Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome
Hello.
to hashtag God Bless Nigeria Summit, brought to you by Church of God Mission International, House of Praise, Lekki, Nigeria. My name is Gift Madojemu, and I will be your host today. I know some of you were on the show last week, so you saw me as a panelist, but today I wear a different hat. And I have with me three amazing panelists to continue on with the discussion we had last week. So this week, it's still the girl child's life matters in Nigeria, but we're going to be looking at a whole different focus. And I will start off by introducing the amazing women on our group today, the panelists who are going to help us dissect this issue, talk about it, and share the perspectives on how we want to change the narrative around the girl child's life in Nigeria. So the first person I have on the show is Susan Oluwadamilare. She's a dental nurse and a business consultant. She's located in Benin City, Nigeria. She works with Domain, which is a research institute out of UBTH. So welcome to the show, Susan.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm honored to be on the show today.
Fantastic. And the next person we have is Esohe Idehen. She's a human capacity developer. She also resides in Benin City, and she is the CEO of Gem Field Consult. Esohe, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Good evening, everyone. It's good to be here with beautiful women and amazing people. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. We're so happy to have you on the show. And the third person we have is Dr. Sochima Ochije. She's a medical doctor who's based in the US. She's actually with the US Army. She's doing great things, amazing things. And we're just looking forward to having her share her insights on this show. So, welcome, Dr. Sochima.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. So, like I said, we're going to continue on with what we're discussing last week. So, last week we really focused on the rape issue because we all know what's going on around with the rape that happened in the last few weeks. And it also boils down to the sexism that we try to highlight in Nigeria. But today we want to look at a different aspect of this. So looking at the girl child's opportunities in Nigeria in terms of their aspirations, their lives. This first question will go to Esohe if you're ready for me. So when we think about the cultural practices, we think about the traditions of our people that perpetually puts down the female child in Nigeria. When we look at all of this, what do you think are the solutions to these issues that we have? Okay, I think we're having a bit of technical difficulty with Esohe right now. So we'll come back to her. Yeah? Okay, so just moving on while we get Esohe back to the studio with us, I'll move on to the next question, which is directed to Dr. Sochima. So you live in a country where there's rule of law. You're even, like I said, a military officer. You're a doctor, and you're female, and you're able to explore all your talents. You're given an opportunity to do the things that you want to do in this country and not feel any different. I'm imagining, even though I'm sure like there are some challenges which you could share. But what do you think the role of the family, the religious organizations, the transitional institutions, and even the government, what do you think their role would be in changing the ugly trend of the narrative of the Nigerian child, the Nigerian girl child in our society?
Okay, so thank you very much for having me here. It's really an honor to be here. Thank you for this platform. So I want to make mention that the girl child, they always continue to be the single most excluded group in the world, like you just said. They face discrimination and abuse simply for being just a female. Now, the female child in Nigeria has always been seen as one whose value is worth no more than the dowry paid as a bride price during marriage. They are seen as someone who will marry out and bear another family name. This narrative of the Nigerian female child has to change from the dialogues that is beyond her being a childbearing factory and her office, which is the kitchen. So I'll just tell a little bit about myself. I'm the first child and the first female child in my family of 6 kids. I have 4 brothers. My family refused to be part of that narrative. They refused to be subdued by the cultural systems that places less value on a female child. My father had 8 sisters while growing up, so he knew how important a female child is in the family. So my family believed in me so much and encouraged me to study medicine. So I was sent to the first private school in Nigeria, which was a Canadian university in Edo State. And you know, our society tells us that the male child carries the next generation of the family, and so they should be invested on. But my family chose to see that every child, not as a male or a female, but by what they can achieve in life. So, because of this, I have walked through steps to become a medical doctor. I have started and I'm almost completing my residency in psychiatry here in the US. And just recently, I became a captain in the United States Army. So, not without limitations, but with perseverance to achieve my goals in life. This means that if any female child is oriented and given the same opportunity, the sky will be their stepping stone. So, there are several circumstances that limit the female child in our Nigerian society. Like you mentioned, religious perspective. The religious perspective sees the female child as the weaker vessels. Unconsciously, the church usually elects about 90 to 100% of male leadership, even if the female is highly spiritual and highly qualified. Other things that affect that limit the female child in our Nigerian society include low socioeconomic status and poverty, which shows us how families rather spend their money to send a male child to school than a female child. All these narratives most times triggers the male to feel dominant and think that he can have his way with any female, with or without their consent. So rape with impunity is just one of the byproducts of the Nigerian society's social ills that demeans the girl's position. They think it can be done and they can just get away with it without any consequence. When a rape happens, it is concluded that it's the female's fault that it happened. So we all need to examine how to mitigate these narratives that engrave the slavery of the female child. Who said a woman can't be great and take positions in society? We have seen in the past and heard in history about women doing so well in position of authority or assignment. You see the likes of Michelle Obama, even our very own Chimamanda. They're all women who impacted our world when given the opportunity to express the strength in them. So the girl child narrative in Nigeria must change. And how do we do this? We can do it one step at a time. It begins with you and I, consciously and deliberately taking it everywhere, talking about it everywhere, every time. It should be part of our discussions at home with our kids. Families should be preaching it to their children and indirectly to the generation unborn, telling them that every woman has the strength to cause a change. They should educate their male child on the importance of the female child and not see her as second rated. The Nigerian government should also be involved. I know in 2011, the UN declared October 11th as International Day of the Girl Child to recognize girls' rights and to highlight the challenges that girls face around the world. But let's come home to Nigeria and request that our governments create a curriculum in the educational sector that will expose the female child's opportunities as well as to express themselves in that position. Government policies should be instituted and enforced to discourage gender discrimination, even at places of work. Most especially in northern Nigeria, I grew up in Kano, where there are a lot of setbacks. The female should be allowed education and not married away to the first alaji that promises money to the family. Education should be given. There's a lot of impact if a girl is educated. Girls who are educated are less likely to become victims of violence, and they're also less likely to become child brides and child mothers. And there are also women in politics that can advocate to come up with programs that orient women to empower their girl child. A lot of females suffer psychological setbacks because of the kind of treatment given to them, believing that no matter what they do or how good they are, they'll either pay with their body or it's impossible to get to the next level. So look at the US soccer team. I usually look at that. They play soccer and we have the men's soccer team, but they're paid less. The women's soccer team is paid less. This should not be so. This narrative must therefore change. A nation that empowers only the male is a handicapped nation. So I know this may not be an easy journey, but like I say, baby steps. With everyone becoming a brick, this is our house that can be built. Thank you.
Awesome. Wow, that's really rich. And you brought up a lot of different sectors. Like you talked about politics, you talked about the government, you talked about your family, and like how families actually play a very pivotal role in changing the girl's narrative of herself and
True.
how she views herself.
Hmm.
And then that she takes that confidence into the world and the other spheres of influence and life that she actually walks in, right? And so, of course, that brings me back to the question that I was asking Esohe. So, looking at all these things that Sochima had brought to the forefront for us, I want to give you that opportunity to shed a bit more light on this in terms of what solutions. She's talked about all these things. She's talked about the government. She talks about the family unit. So when we look about our culture, like cultural ways and our traditions, especially, how do you think we can change the narrative with solutions that you have in mind?
All right. So very well, like Chima have said, yeah, those are indeed some of the problems that a female child has to deal with simply because she's a girl. And sometimes I like to ask, what crime has she committed for being a girl child? Perhaps if she had the opportunity to choose the sex, with the way everything is going, she probably would have preferred to be a male child. But anyway, so yeah, we can't play down on the role of tradition when it comes to building a society, or the kind of growth or society we want to see. Traditions or culture is actually what makes people, and it defines people from tells us of our different identity and all of that. However, when we have traditions that now empower one gender above the other, such tradition or culture is something that should be revisited, and is something that should be done away with, or is something that we should you know what's the word now, if we have to revisit it or review it, yes, we should. Now it's very important that we note that the traditions that we think are so rigid. Yeah, especially in the Benin culture, the Benins are so loyal to traditions, and it seems like those traditions were God made, but actually they're traditions that were made by men. And at the time they were actually made out of selfish, or they were made for selfish reasons. Now, every culture that you see, or every tradition that you see, many a time than not, it's brought out in it comes about in a way that it's favorable to whoever enacts that tradition. So in my class, sometimes when we're doing the family blueprint system, I like to ask, like she said, a typical Benin man will tell you that his child or the girl is supposed to be in the kitchen and all of that and all those plenty story. So I usually use this analogy, and then I ask, Mr. Man, if your daughter, using Chima here, were to have the opportunity to travel abroad, and then she's married, and then you have the opportunity to get paid, let's say $10,000 every month for doing nothing, but simply because that girl is your child and she's not, will you stand with the fact, or will you defend the culture that says that the female child should not work, if you know that's what you have to do? Now you hear the same people who tell you that no, the girl child is meant for the kitchen. I'll tell you, no, she has to travel, she has to do this. So it tells you already that the culture is a selfish one that promotes, whatever anybody thinks they want to promote, as case may be. So what's that we must do? Like she said, we need to consciously orientate our traditional leaders. They need to consciously orientate them. We need to help them see that, yeah, the female child is beyond female. She's first a human. And so she has every potential that you think that your male child has. Now give them a level playing field. We have seen females rise up and do much more than your male child. Do you understand? We give them a level playing field, and then we revisit cultures and traditions that do not limit them. Cultures such as female genital mutilation. You think that you want to help the female child to be chaste, you have to mutilate, think you're cutting out what makes sex pleasurable for her, according to, these are certain things you want to look into. Because at the end of the day, whatever culture you bring, or like we are seeing now, whatever the culture is, the female gets to bear the, whether she's living by the culture or she's culture, she bears the brunt. Now the male child comes in, taking the using the example of sex now. The female child gets married, a female child who was mutilated. Of course, you know that you have cut out some of the organs that make sex pleasurable. And then the male child now complains that, oh, she's not sexually active, she's this, she's that. But you can see that head or tail, she gets to bear the brunt of even the culture, as it were, if she's living with the culture, and even if she's not living with the culture, because the society tends to limit her when she tries to rise up. So I think that when we visit those culture and ensure that this culture do not favor one sex or one gender above the other, then we are taking baby steps to making the female child, you know, live out all of her potentials and all of her God-given talents. Now, something else that we must also look at, away from placing this, placing the ball directly in the hand of some other person, whether the society or our traditional rulers. I also like to say that we need to also orientate our female children. A lot of orientation needs to be done because over time, what they've been taught has been ingrained into their subconscious, so that this female child thinks that she shouldn't run for certain positions because a male is going for that position as well. Now she's in certain stages, she's trying to be careful. Yeah. So as a CEO, you have males working under you. You're trying to be careful because you're trying to bring in this is a man thing. You're trying to pamper his ego, forgetting that this is work and marriage is marriage. What happens within the confines of marriage will not play down on your role as a woman for submission and all of that. But when it comes to society, leadership, and all of that, we need to help our female child understand or find that divide that you are a human being. And you do not have to chicken out for any other person, whether male or female. But yeah, in this case, referring to the male, you need to understand that because yeah, I've had cases where a lot of ladies are given opportunities and then they tell you no. Why? Because they tell you I'm a female, and a lot of them do not even aspire anymore. When you listen to all they are saying, they're telling you once I finish university, that's the one that even agrees to go to the university. I go just marry. Do you understand? So for them, marriage is an achievement and all of that. So we need to also reorientate them because all of these things that they've grown into, like as mentioned, the family orientation that have taught her that, oh, she's inferior to the male, or that has taught the brother that he's superior to sister simply because she's a female, has taken hold. And so this thing plays out subconsciously. They may not even know it, but it just plays out. To them, they're trying to be that good woman, they're trying to be that good girl, they're trying to win a man's heart because they think they have to play it all low. So yes, we need to the traditional rulers have to do what they have to do. The politicians or the political leaders have to do what they have to do. But ultimately, the female child herself have to rise up to the challenge. We are not playing down on the fact that it's going to be a top one, but you need to rise up to the challenge. Tell yourself that you are a bundle of talents deployed to planet Earth to serve a purpose. And you need to, be focused and stay true to that purpose without allowing your sex or anything limit you. I think I want to stop there. So
Yeah.
those are two major things, and emphasis laid on the fact that the female child herself should be reorientated and learn to rise up to take those roles that are left for them, or that that they can take as leaders, and learn to show that they also have leadership ability. I think one of the things, let me just quickly add this, is that we need to help them understand that there is no difference between the male spirits and the female spirits. So a lot of time I have to use that analogy from the Bible that when God said, "Let us make man," man was a generic term used there. He went further to say he made them male and female. So he made man to be male and female. So I think we just need to understand this, that there is no male spirit, there is no female spirit. The difference is in your anatomy because you have different functions that you are doing on earth, which is you're either nursing the child or then, by your body anatomy. But away from that, you are the same as a male child. Everything he can do, you can do as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esohe, for sharing all that. There's something I saw recently, actually, in this past week that says traditions, and I'm not saying like all traditions, but the way it put it was like traditions are peer pressure from dead people that we still have to live on to today. So it's saying if this was how things were done in the past by people who thought it was favorable to them, do we still have to do it today? Like, can't we revisit those things? Can't we see how it works within our context now? because these people are long gone. So why are we
Yeah.
still holding on to it, right? So I like the point you brought out. And then also saying, looking at the girl child herself. And that brings us to the next question that I'm going to ask Susan about politics, is sometimes women think they can't and they shouldn't take that stage in life. And when they try to, other women are telling them, no, 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 you shouldn't do that. It's a man's job.
Yeah.
You shouldn't aspire to be in politics. You shouldn't aspire to, why do you want to be president? Why do you want to be vice president? And why can't you just be, a nurse or something that will create time for you and your kids, right? So that definitely brings me into my next question to Susan. So we've seen in countries like Mali, Liberia, like I'm using African countries now, Mali, Liberia, Senegal, even like the Central Republic of Africa, like in the Congo, we've seen female head of states or vice presidents. But we've not seen that in Nigeria. And I am wondering, why is this? Why can't we, as the giant of Africa, produce a female president? Why? What are those things that limits our women from rising in politics or even in political sphere?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, it starts with the right orientation. The truth is, I would want to throw out the question: if a woman come out today to want to contest for presidency, would she be voted for by other women? So you see the issue. So it's beyond just saying that women should contest, women should contest. Will a fellow woman want to vote for a woman? Will a man want to vote for a woman? So it starts with that, and it begins with telling both genders that leadership is not gender sensitive.
Yeah.
Anyone can want to be anything, whether you want to be a political leader or you want to rise high in your career or whatever. It's for both. It's to tell both that this is not rivalry. There's a mentality to leadership that looks like it's rivalry. It's a rivalry. It's a rivalry, or it's a competition between both the man and the woman, and that's not true. You as a man, you are contesting. You want to be the best. The woman too also wants to be the best. So when we remove that idea of competition and the fact that okay, anyone can lead, you see, and that's why it's important for us to educate both the girl child and also the male child. You see, there is no limit to what self-development can do to any gender, including the female gender. Now, if we want to tell ourselves that okay, women should rise higher in politics, the truth is we need to not just want to rise higher, we should develop ourselves in this light. Yes, our development and our training must be in the light of what we want to become. And we must tell ourselves that, okay, this is what I want to aim at. This is my goal. And if you notice that most, especially in Nigeria, when a woman loses election, somehow we just see the fact that the woman just answers. There is no push, no perseverance. So a woman loses once, she goes to sleep, or she has lost. And you see, and I noticed that most people, laugh at her, who told her to come out, she got left for the male and all of that. We must have this fight to life. So even if you lose something once, you keep going and you keep going for it. Keep climbing. No matter how much you fall or fail, you keep trying. So if we try once and we go sleep and feel that okay, we have lost, we want to rise high in whatever area of life we want to rise high to. So for politics, for career, there is no sleeping on the game. There is no sleeping. You see, somehow we tell ourselves nobody's giving us the platform. How many women are actually coming out to say, I want to do this? And somehow we have this, and that's why I asked the question. If a woman comes out today to say she wants to do politics, how many women will really vote for her? That's the truth. How many men will really come out to say, okay, we want to support this woman that is actually doing this? So it boils down to the fact that we must tell ourselves, okay, this is what I want to do. And we must allow nothing deter us, nothing at all. No matter the odds that are against us, we tell ourselves, okay, this is what I'm going for, and I am going for it, no matter the discouragement. And that's why, and it starts from the home. It starts from every aspect of life. We don't tell a woman, sit down, you don't have a voice. You are not, this is a man's word. No, this is our word, whether male or female. So we must tell ourselves, and it begins with how we even raise our children. We don't tell a girl child, no, don't do engineering. Engineering is not for ladies. Somehow in school there's this idea that there are courses for women and there are courses for men. And that's not true. And somehow we have believed all of this and have refused to rise high. And that should not be. If a woman wants to do architecture, so be it. If a woman wants to do engineering, so be it. If a woman wants to do political science, so be it. Whatever area of life a woman wants to rise up to, then so be it. No limitation. There is, as long as it is knowledge, we can learn. Our issue is we just feel that okay, it's a gender thing. We are women, you have factors, they begin to bring in all of that. Our issue should never be intellectual issues or emotional or mental issues, because they tell us that women are emotional beings. No, women can be logical, and women too can be, emotional. So we mustn't tell our the issue that even though we want to tell people believe in the girl child, believe in women, we also as women must believe in ourselves. So if a woman says tomorrow she want to become a president, nobody should tell her to go sit down. Not even the women folk, not even the men folk. So it begins at every level. So if a woman says, I want to be a pilot, not to tell her driving planes is for men. No, it's for everybody. So rising high in life is not gender sensitive. So whether you're a man, you're a woman, there is no limit to your greatness. So don't tell yourself, okay, it's a man's word, it's a woman's word. We are not in a competition. It's not a fight. So we're not trying to raise placards to anything. Is that we're telling ourselves whether I'm a man or a woman, I will rise high in life.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Susan. I really love the passion you put into that. And there's something that you said that I think for women we need to understand is no one is handing anything to us. We need to develop ourselves. We need to put in that work. The men are not going to say, okay, take this. We're like, I need to be diligent. I need to put in the work. I need to show myself worthy because this society that we live in put me down. So I need to rise above that until they can recognize who I am. So I really appreciate you saying all that. So just before we round up, and it's like, I know we always seem to run out of time on this wonderful show. I just want to give everyone the opportunity, 30 seconds each, to just share your last thoughts on on this topic today. So we'll start off with Sochima. So 30 seconds, just wrap up what was your last comments on this.
Okay, so we've listened to everybody and we've learned one or two things, about the female child. I know about a great percentage of females usually take care of their parents. So what does this mean to us? Our parents are responsible to teach these children that as a female, you have a big role to play in the life and the society. So we should encourage and educate and orient our female child, orient our male child, orient the society and the government to be part of all this. So let's see and make this place a better Nigeria.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Esohe.
All right.
30
So
seconds.
to cap this up, I will just say that still my emphasis will still be on the female child herself, not on the society or the political leader. It's very impossible for anybody to bring you down without your permission. So, like we've all said, you need to be dogged and resilient on this fight. Susan rightly said there is no sleeping in the game. So you need to take what you know you want to take, what you demand from life. Life or society will not give to you what you think is fair. No,
Yeah.
you have to demand and take what you need to take, and understand that nobody can bring you down without your what's it called now, without your permission. So do
Yeah.
not let anybody play down on you. Do not let anybody look down on you. You are better and 100% good to go, just the way you are as a woman. Thank you.
Fantastic. Susan, 30 seconds.
Okay, success doesn't have a gender. So, and don't see yourself as that like you are disadvantaged because you are a girl. Once you have that mentality that you are on a disadvantaged angle, you will keep making errors in that life. So you are a lady, you opt for greatness. Whether you are in So, you are a Kapachan or you are somewhere in Togo, the world is large enough to accommodate how much you're ready to bring to the table. So don't limit
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And you are really not disadvantaged. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. It's been amazing having three wonderful panelists like you. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Sochima. Thank you, Esohe. And we'll just wrap up this show with some announcements. But my own 30 seconds view about this is, women, We have it in us. We can do it, and we need to support each other. Women rise up and support another woman. Let's support ourselves. Let's be there for ourselves. And we're going to continue this series. So this is my announcement. We're going to continue changing the narrative of the girl child in Nigeria. Next Saturday, still an all-female panelist. It will be the same time, 6 p.m. because there's still a whole lot to uncover. Like even balancing being a champion in your career and your family life. Like those are great things that we can talk about. The other announcement we have is that CGMI House of Praise Sunday service is at 9 a.m. on all our social media platforms. If you scroll to the bottom of your screen, we have a 2 sermonette service with Reverend Sheyi of CGMI Manifold Grace. So let's hook up to that tomorrow at 9 a.m. CGMI House of Praise Sunday service. And then also let's hook up with Reverend Mavi every weekday by 3 p.m. for Living by the Word, to be blessed by the Word, to just latch onto the Word. Join Reverend Mavi 3 p.m. every weekday. And next Saturday, which is the 20th of June, we also have our first edition of House of Praise Hangout with Bishop Feb, Reverend Uyi, Ago, Dandy, Dan the Humorous, and Bucci. So it's a coffee table gist. The topic is Chronicles of the Lockdown, and the time is 4 p.m. So Chronicles of the Lockdown, how it's been for you guys. 4 p.m. with Bishop Feb, Reverend Uyi, and Dan the Humorous. Next week, Saturday, you don't want to miss this. It will be exciting, hilarious, and of course, very educative. And of course, this wonderful show, hashtag God Bless Nigeria Summit, has been brought to us by CGMI House of Praise Lekki, Nigeria. So we want to say thank you all for tuning in, and we hope to see you next week, Saturday. So with my dear panelists, I'll say God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria.
Amen. So thank you all for watching.